Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Sonia and today's video is all about cheap and easy outdoor decor DIYs. Most of these came from supplies that I had laying around the house. I've purposed some pots, used up some wood, recreated some old DIYs, and the supplies that I did buy all came from a dollar store or a thrift store. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a compilation of some of my favorite outdoor DIYs, so make sure you stick around, check them all out, and let me know which one was your favorite. So here is that pot. As you can see, it has tons of beautiful detailing on it, but it is very, very kind of run down and damaged and falling apart. So I am going to try and bring it back to life with some paint, some wax, and just, try my best here. I absolutely love working on projects like these because this was destined for the garbage and I am here to give it brand new life. And this was in a pretty rough shape. There was tons of loose stuff on it. So I took that same paper that I just used on my other project and just sanded down some of these loose pieces. Just so that way they don't interfere when I'm painting it. I'm not sure if somebody at some point was trying to fix this piece because this brown kind of grayish it looked like it was in there. It looked like clay almost, and it was on there. It reminded me that something that you would do when you would try and glue pieces together. However, there was nothing on the inside to indicate that it was cracked, so I'm not quite sure what that was or whether that was just a color that was underneath. Like I said, I am not sure. So once all of the loose pieces were sanded down, I proceeded to paint the whole piece with graphite. I gave it a fairly decent coverage. There were some areas that were showing because I just wanted them to show. I love using, obviously if you watch my channel, I absolutely love using chalk paint, especially for projects like these. Originally, before I actually saw exactly how textured this piece was, I was considering using, mixing up some baking soda paint and painting it with that, but this had so much texture on it that I did not, that would have been pointless. But if you would like to see me use some baking soda paint and what the look that it gives to a smooth surface, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to share. There are plenty of vases and pots that need some new life to them, given to them between my house and my mother-in-law's house, and we have been actually talking about redoing them all. She was considering just chucking them and buying all new ones, but I love redoing stuff like this, so I thought that the baking soda paint might do the trick for her. So like I said, let me know down in the comments if you would like to see that kind of video. And I currently can't go to thrift stores. They're shut down because we are in lockdown. I live in Ontario, Canada, so shopping and my family members' garbages is what I've resorted to. So now that the piece was painted and drying, I mixed up my white acrylic paint and water, equal parts of white acrylic paint and water. Originally, I was going to use white wax on this project, but then I have changed my mind in the process of it, which happens often when I'm DIYing, and decided to do an acrylic whitewash on this piece. This is such an easy process and it gives the pot such a unique and amazing look. And I will be using the sponge brush, 1-inch sponge brush, to apply the paint onto the piece, and you will also need a lint-free rag to wipe everything off. So just an FYI, you will go through several of these brushes because the surface is fairly rough, and as you're applying this paint, it tends to rough up the sponge and fall apart. So I'm dabbing instead of rubbing here because I'm trying to get it into all the crevices. I'm not doing this throughout the whole piece because there are areas where there's not that much detail. So in those areas, I just brush it on. But here I was just dabbing just to get into all the little nooks and crannies that this pot had. And you want to work in sections. You don't want to cover this whole area all at once because the paint will dry. So you want to pick sections and just work on that section until it's completely done. So once I'm finished applying the paint, I take the rag and I will wipe it off. So this is fair. The look that you end up with totally depends on you. If you don't want so much white to show, you wipe it off more. If you want more of the white to show, you don't wipe it as much. I do like all the little nooks, crevices to have the white showing in them, so I'm not going as heavy on the wiping in those areas. And then when I move on to a little bit more of a design, like the little things that are popping out, I'd go a little bit more just to give it a little bit of a darker look, because the dark and then the white around it really looks good that way. But that's just me. Like I said, this can be, you can take this any way you want, like how much, it all depends on how much pressure you're putting and how much wiping you're actually doing. And if you want to get into those little crevices, I just kind of wrap it around my finger and push it in with my nail and wipe it down that way, the rag. Or you can even maybe take a little Q-tip and get in there to get as much white off as you want. Once I was finished with this pot, I did show it to my mother-in-law and she absolutely loved it, and that's how we came about talking about all the other pots and vases that she had that she wanted me to redo. So here it is, all on its own. I think it looks absolutely stunning, completely new look. I can't believe it is that ugly terracotta pot that it was. I'm sure at one time in its life it was beautiful, but it kind of ran its course. And I did decorate it just a little bit with some greenery just to show you what it would look like if you had a plant in there. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Sonia, and today I am sharing with you 2 outdoor DIYs that I'm creating for my back patio. One is going to go on my table, and the other ones are going to hold my herbs that I'm planting. So for the first one, I had picked up this glass container or vase or whatever it's called. It was $4 at Dollarama. And then I have some rocks for weighing it down, a piece of wood, and then I also have this ball that came from IKEA a long time ago, and but I know Dollar Store sells them. They might be a touch smaller. And then I'm going to paint it. Now I don't have a lot of acrylic paint left, and when I went and got this bowl, the Dollarama that I went to was completely out of paint. So I will be using chalk paint instead, which is really not what I planned on doing, but it is what I ended up doing because I didn't have a choice. So anyways, so I'm using the charcoal black from Chalk Paint by Rust-Oleum, white one from Rust-Oleum Chalk Paint, and then I also have Paris Gray. I think it's Paris Gray. If it's, I have it in this tin. I have to double check which one it is, but it's a gray color by Annie Sloan. because I want to create almost a cement look on this glass bowl. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this sticker and give the bowl a wipe down because it looks a little dusty. So I'm going to start with my stenciling brush, but I might end up using something else if this takes a long time. So I had put the 3 paints here and I'm going to start applying them. So now I'm just going to go and see where there's still glass showing and just go over it. Okay, I think that turned out really nice. Let me see if I can lift it and show you. I think it does look a lot like concrete. And now for the middle, I got this piece of wood to fit it in because I want to hot glue this piece to it because I didn't want it to fly all around. But on its own, it's not going to be heavy enough. So I got some of these rocks to add to it, just to weigh it down on each side a little bit. Because it's going to sit on my table and I don't want to have to put it away every single time it's windy outside. Okay, now I'm going to apply a generous amount of glue, but I think I'm going to use some of this deer moss to fill it in as well, because I think this on its own is not gonna sit well. I mean, it's gonna show stuff through. You can put whatever you want. I think this would also look good with some of those, what are they called? Succulents. And there we go. I will show you, hopefully I can show you what it looks like on my table outside. If not, I will have to show you what it looks like on my kitchen table because it is pouring outside today. For my neck DIY, I had picked up these different size of pots at Dollarama. They're 2 different sizes. I was hoping to get one more, but again, the one that I went didn't have it, so I'll just make do with these 3, and if by the time this video goes up, if I find more, I will post those as well. This is very simple. I will be using my chalk paint for this, and I love those pods that look like I think they're French pods. I think that's what they're called, and that's what I'm going to try and replicate, and I want to plant my herbs in them. So I'm just using the chalk paint, the by Rust-Oleum in linen white, and I'm going to be dry brushing. So I picked up some paint onto my brush, but I'm taking most of it off, and I am just going to dry brush it on. And I think I might even use a little bit of water just to thin the paint out once it's on there. Brush in the water. And now I'm just going to repeat the process. I really like the way that turned out, and I'm going to repeat the same process for all the rest of them. I am also going to do the saucers as well, but just on the outside. There's no point of doing them on the inside, just maybe the top lip, just so that way they match. So the last thing that I'm going to do is put labels on these, and I had printed out some of these French labels. Well, it says oval French ephemera labels. It's by Dreams Factory for the Graphics Fairy, and I will link it down below because they are free printables. And I am going to do a transfer. I have a full video how I do the transferable labels, so I will include that, but I am going to use these a bit bigger ones for it. I hope it works out. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm going to try one first and then go from there. You need tape. I'm actually going to put this here so I have a clean surface, because my table's a mess. Just going to make sure that this is on, and I'm just using a little tool from Pampered Chef that comes with their stones, just to get it as bubble free as possible. So now that I have this done, I'm going to stick it in the water and leave it in for a couple minutes. Okay, so I think it worked. So the next step is I'm just going to gently rub off some of this paper. Nice and clean. I'm just going to snip off some of the edges a little bit. Right here, I am going to attach this. And I think because it's going to go outside, I am going to brush up a little bit of glue on it as well. Go over the top too, that way it's nice and secure. So I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm going to repeat that for all the rest of them. So here are the pots. I am going to be placing them right there, but as you can see, it's raining outside, so I didn't want to do it right now, but I will show you on Instagram. If you are not following me, make sure you are. Same handle name, and there is also a link in bio for a link to the Instagram page. But for now, this is where they are, and I absolutely love the way they turned out. I think they're so cute, exactly what I was going for. And here is my fall cement pot with the boxwood ball. I like the way this turned out. I wish the ball was a touch bigger, but this will do. I think the moss makes it look better. Well, I hope you enjoyed these 2 DIYs. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If this is your first time stopping by, I would love it if you press that subscribe button and a notification bell so you get notified when my next DIY is up. And until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. We are in a little bit of a different setting. I am outside on my back porch patio because it's absolutely gorgeous, and since this is an outdoor project, I thought it would be fitting to do it outside. So I have just wanted to show you things I'm going to be using. So I have my hot glue gun. I have this bowl that I had actually made over. It was about 2 years ago. I will link it, the video at the end of this one, if you want to see how I created the concrete look on it and how I weighed it down and all that stuff. Because I just leave it outside and it sits outside, the top part kind of got a little bit weathered. I still have it. I'm going to use it for a different project, but I wanted to give this a bit of a new look. So I am keeping this piece of wood here, and there are rocks underneath it to weigh it down, so that way when there's winds it doesn't go flying everywhere. And then I went out to Dollar Tree and picked up all of these assortment of succulents. I'm probably not going to use all of them because the bowl and obviously the amount of succulents I have is more succulents than the size of the bowl, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But that way I have my choice of what I want to use. I also picked up some of this artificial moss, and then I also have a couple rocks here because I'm thinking I might, depending on how much moss I have left over, dress them up and make them into little moss balls, and so that I can just fill it in and have it even more of a weight down. Now this is a kind of a look for less or high-end dupe, because I had seen these, for example, here on Wayfair. It is over $100, and I can really make this one for probably under $10, which is what I like to keep it, especially if I'm going to be keeping it outside, because no matter how much money you pay, I find over the years the outdoor stuff does wear and tear because of the outdoor elements, so especially here in Canada. So I don't obviously keep it out all of winter. Pretty much spring until mid-fall is when things are kept outside. So without further ado, I'm going to get started and assemble this. So first I'm going to do a bit of a dry run just to see how I want things to look. And I'm going to cut off these little tips just so they sit nicer. And this one has obviously a very long one, so this just pulls out. I think the Dollar Tree has such a great assortment of succulents, and I lucked out because they were fully stocked, so I was able to pick and choose whichever ones I wanted to use. I wanted it to add a little bit of color, but not to be too overpowering, so I added couple colored ones, but kind of stuck mostly to the green tones. I do also love creating these look for less or high-end dupes, because there's so much decor out there, and as some prices I just don't understand sometimes where they come up with them. I know that this might be a touch smaller, although if I were to measure it, I bet you it was close to 8 inches what that one was on there. And with a little bit of creativity, you can achieve almost the same exact look as the store-bought stuff for a fraction of the price, especially for something that you're going to be keeping outside and it's going to be getting hit by elements, because I don't want to have to bring it in every time it's raining or windy or anything like that. If I have to do that I'd rather just not have anything, because it's just such a pain in the butt to be doing that, in my opinion. I know there's people, I don't even like really having cushions on my chairs for that same reason, because I to keep in mind that I have to put the cushions away every time it rains. It's too much work for me. That's just me. I mean, there's nothing wrong with I admire people that do that, but like I said, for me, I just want something simple that looks beautiful and it's functional. When gluing these on, you want to be fairly generous to do so. I was thinking about maybe removing the wood and putting like florist brick there in there, but I was worried what would happen if it was getting constantly wet from the rain and stuff. I know that I will probably have to redo a little bit of glue at the end of the season or before next year's season, just because again with all the rain and stuff the glue will come loose. But I had if you watched the video when I originally made this, I did have one of those green balls, kind of boxwood balls on there, and I had glued it, and it lasted me for 3 years, so 2 or 3 years. So I mean, it really isn't it doesn't come apart that easily as long as you're fairly generous. And I like having that piece of wood in there, and there's rocks underneath to weigh it down, again, for the wind and all that fun stuff that comes with spring and summer weather. So I did find that I had room for about 2 of these rocks, so I had wrapped up these with the 2 rocks with this moss. This is a different moss than I'm used to working. These are more like moss discs, and they have some sort of a black backing on them, almost like a fuzzy backing, which makes them quite thick. But you can remove that, if like I did for the wrapping of the rocks, just because it was a little bit too bulky with it on and it was showing through. And I'm only covering the top because the bottom is going to be glued to the top of it, so you can't see the bottom. And this just added a little bit extra weight. And now I just continued to fill in wherever I saw, if I saw wood or the other moss that was there from the previous project, I just ended up cutting this and filling it in until I covered all of it.
Someone did you wrong. I can see it in your eyes. It's like your fire is gone. Across your face, it is written across your face. If you wanna talk, I'm right here, not gonna leave your side. Just feel free to open up when the moment's right. Across your face, it is written across your face.
So here it is, all finished, and I just love the way it turned out. I think the color of the moss is just the right choice, and the little bit of rocks just gave it a little bit of more of a heavier look, which is what I was looking for. And I think it's going to look absolutely stunning on my table here instead of that. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not. If you're stopping by again, a returning subscriber, thank you so much for following along. I appreciate it so very much. So until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you all so much for watching. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be making a spring and summertime wreath that I will be putting up as part of my spring porch decor video. which I will link down below. And these are the supplies I will be using. I have 2 of these, the vine wreaths, wine. I think it's wine wreaths. Then I have garden twist ties, some glue sticks, glue gun, scissors, and lots of greenery. So I'm going to get started and I will show you my steps.
about the things we used to do. No, you couldn't stand tall, so why didn't you call? So many years has gone by, but I think about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all, but why didn't you call? Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. about you all the time. Looks like you're changing and all. But why didn't you call? Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Can you feel me?
About to leave, already packing.
So here is the finished product. I really like the way it turned out.
About to leave, already.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you some more outdoor DIYs. These are great for your patio decor, and they're made from dollar store as well as reclaimed some scrap wood materials. So my very first one, I have this pallet wood, because if you've been following along, I had picked up a van full of pallet wood for free from I found a place on Facebook Marketplace, and I am just working through it all. I think I have 2 or 3 more left. So for this one, I'm just keeping it together. I'm going to eventually get my husband to take the backing off just so I can screw it to the fence. I was hoping to show you this in this video, but unfortunately it's been raining for 2 days now, and it just didn't happen. So I sanded it down, and I'm just taking, it had some staples in it, so I'm taking those off just because I didn't want them there. And then using my Cricut machine, I have cut out a stencil kind of thing for it, and I just used the white shelf liner from the Dollar Tree to cut the stencil out. I didn't want it to use my good vinyl because I was going to be just taking it off and throwing it out. So if you're following along, you know I struggle with this, but it did work pretty good to weed it out and take everything off. So I'm just trying to figure out where exactly I want this stencil to go on, playing it around. So I had removed this frame on its own just so I know where I want it to go before I actually use transfer tape and transfer the whole stencil on. I wanted to know exactly where I wanted this to go. I also wanted to let you know that this video is part of a challenge, a Craft Your Stash challenge. It's an open invite. It's hosted by Antoinette from Simple Yet Chic, and this is her monthly challenge. And the theme for this one was DIY summer indoor and outdoor decor. So obviously I will be creating all of mine for outdoor. You could probably use some indoor as well, but it is a summer decor. I will have Antoinette's channel linked down below, as well as the playlist for you to check out after you are done watching my video. And this challenge is also very appropriate for this craft your stash, because I do live in Ontario and currently all of our stores are essentials only, so I am running really short on some of the supplies. So I am thinking outside the box and trying to use up all the things that I have at home, which is kind of a good thing as well, just to get through all the materials. But I did needed a clear coat for this to keep it outside, and I did not have it. So, and Home Depot currently, the curbside pickup is not a good thing, it takes forever. So I will be putting a clear coat once the stores open up. So here is the stencil on, and now I'm going to proceed to apply my stain, but you want to make sure that there's no bubbles in the stencil so the stain leaks through. I am using up my Old Masters stain in Spanish oak. I'm at the very end of it. It's had to peel a layer of dry stuff off of it, but I had enough for today's projects, which was great. So I'm using a foam brush as well as a rag just to spread it out. Foam brush to apply the stain and then a rag to spread it out. And then I remove the stencil, revealing the natural wood color underneath. I absolutely love that the way that this turned out. It looks amazing, in my opinion, and I think it's going to look fabulous on my deck. But like I said, I will be applying a clear coat on it just to protect it from the weather elements outside, because I won't be taking it off during the winter if I screw it onto the fence. My DIY number 2, I will be making some scones, and I've had some of this scrap wood laying around, so I'm using that as well as these little pieces of wood that I had left over from dollar store from a different project, as well as these hooks, some mason jar lids, just the rings, and some mason jars, as well as a chain that if you watched my when I made a cloche, that's what I took, the chain I took off the hanging basket. And then I also use spray paint, and I spray paint the rings as well as the little hooks with black spray paint. And I have a big window right above my table and it was open just to air out the spray paint. Then I proceed on gluing these little pieces of wood just to give the big piece of wood a little bit more design. And then I seed them with that same old Spanish oak stain. It's a gel stain, and I'm just using a rag just so I can get into all the little crevices. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonia, and I create home decor DIYs as well as furniture upcycles and trash to treasure makeovers on my channel. So if this is something that interests you, I would love it if you press the subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss out any of my future uploads. Now that these had dried, although the hooks, because it was kind of rubber on top of them, even though it was dry, some of the spray paint did come off, but it ended up looking more gray than black, which I was okay with that. And then I take the chain, and I want to see where I want these jars to be placed, and then I take a chain, take it apart to the length that I need to, and then I just hot glue it on. You could possibly drill a little hole and thread it through, but I wasn't sure how the lid would go on the jar then if it had a little bit of a thing on the inside. I didn't know that it was gonna screw very well. I'm putting hot glue. I would recommend even putting permanent glue on it, just because if you're gonna be using it outside, there's gonna be like rain and wind and stuff like that, so you want it to hold a little bit better. that's another thing that I'm out of. So I am just using hot glue just to show you. But like I said, I would also put permanent glue. So here it is. I wanted to put some votives or some of those battery operated tea lights in there just to show you. For my fourth project and my last one, I am creating another pillow, and I am using a burlap. I had picked up this burlap roll at Michael's for, I don't even remember how much it was. I think it was around $10-15. I had a table runner out of it. Did several DIYs already, and I still have quite a bit left. So I wanted the size of this pillow to be about 12 by 12 so it fits, because I'm gonna be creating a design. I actually created a design on Canva and added it to my design space on a Cricut, because for Mother's Day I got an easy press, and this was the first time using it. And you guys, I tell ya, I hope the Cricut machine and all the Cricut things aren't like sewing for me, because it's taking me a while to get a hang of it. But anyways, so I again proceeded to hot gluing all three sides, leaving one open, and then I moved onto the floor because the table's a little bouncy, and it said you need to have a solid surface for the transfer. So I'm actually going to leave a link to the transfer that I created. I have it over on my Etsy shop. If you did not know, I recently opened up an Etsy shop, and I am just having some SVG files on there that I've created that I'm sharing with you, and they are a download and for minimal cost. You'll see I don't charge much for them. So if you want this transfer, it will be linked in the description box. So the first one I made, I realized I cut out the wrong side, so it has to be shiny side down. I did the shiny side up. Then I went and I did it the second time, but I had forgot to turn on the mirrored image. So the third time was the charm, and I got it the right way. So I'm just placing some parchment paper. I read a couple blogs that say to use the parchment paper. I don't know if it actually did anything, so I'm try to do it both ways. So once the heat image, and I'm doing it at 300 because it's set for burlap to use 300. I think it's Fahrenheit, and then no, it's Celsius. Sorry. And then I'm just checking to see whether the image is transferring. If not, I go back and hold it on it again. So once the image had transferred, I just finish it off just the exact same way as I did the other pillow. So I'm not taking you through that whole process again. So yeah, I think this turned out really cute. We have a nice, really big fire pit. That's our thing in the backyard, and I think this is gonna look really great on my Muskoka chair. Obviously, I'm not gonna be leaving this pillow out all the time throughout like rain and winter. It will be just for decor, to decorate the yard, but I think it's gonna Welcome to my channel. In this video I will be making a lemon wreath for my family room. I will be placing it above my fireplace, and I have picked, if you saw my Dollarama haul, I picked up those branches. They were, I think, $1.50, and then this garland came from Hobby Lobby, and it was $12.99 regular price, and then I used a 40% coupon on it. There are some lemons that are a mixture from Dollar Tree and Michael's. Some I had on hand, some are new, and then this wreath that I picked up at Michael's, and I used a 40% coupon. I think that was $5, I believe. So the first thing that I did with this wreath is I did not want to glue the branches. Now, if you are putting this outside and there is wind and weather, plays a role. I would glue these or tie them up. I just shoved them in here. So I took one branch and I had separated it and stuck all the branches all the way around. Once I was satisfied with the way the leaves looked, I have added the garland, and I am using the gardening wire to attach the garland on, and I picked that up at Dollarama as well. Once I went all the way around, I just spread it out, made sure it's not caught up with each on top of each other. This thing was really hard to work with. Then I placed my lemons the way I wanted them to look, and I also ended up taking apart one of my lavender plants and adding the purple in it. I think it just made it look that much more nicer. And I am hot gluing the lemons and the lavender to the wreath because I don't know any other way that I could make it stay. Once it was dry, I just took that wire and made a little loop at the back so I can hang it up. Depending on what where you're hanging, you can add ribbon or whatever you want. I didn't want anything to show. So here it is above my fireplace. I hung it on top of the window and I think it just looks fabulous. So if you are brand new to my channel, I would love for you to press the subscribe button, stick around, press the notification bell so you don't miss out any of my new videos. And for those of you that follow me on a regular basis, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I love having this little community that's being created on my YouTube channel. Hi guys, I'm super excited today to be bringing you a video that shows you how I use scrap wood to create beautiful home decor DIYs. I have tons of it left over and I needed to use it up, and I came up with these 3 ideas that I think are going to look great inside or outside for your decor. For this first one, I have this piece of, I think it's chipboard, but I'm not 100% sure. I used the other half to create a menu for my kitchen, and now I'm going to create a home sign. So I had used a stencil paper from Cricut to cut out a stencil that says home, but I am not using the O in it. This stencil was a little bit tricky to take apart, but it worked really well. Once I was painting, none of the paint leaked through. For the O, I used some of Dollar Tree paper, the vinyl paper that the Dollar Tree sells, and in a color green. And I cut out a wreath, kind of like a boxwood wreath with my Cricut. I transferred that using a clear shelf liner from Dollar Tree. I had stocked up just before shutdown, so I have plenty of them on hand to use. One thing that I'm not a huge fan when using a Cricut is the weeding part. I struggle with it quite a bit. But it is getting better. I do know it's me, just practice makes perfect, and I just have to do more practicing. I'm so excited. I just got the Easy Press for Mother's Day, and I can't wait to start using it for all sorts of different DIYs. So make sure if you like Cricut type of DIYs, make sure you tune in for that, because I am, like I said, very excited to start using it. So when I was deciding to trying to figure out what to make out of this piece of wood, I knew I wanted to make a sign. I just wasn't sure which direction I wanted to take it. I am quite blown away with all sorts of different home signs out there on Pinterest. There are so many wonderful and great ideas from, like I said, like I'm using Cricut machine to cut this out, but you can totally freehand it. I've done many signs where I freehand stuff. You don't necessarily need to have the Cricut. I just thought this might be a bit easier, but as you can see with me transferring, I don't know how much easier it actually is. Do you guys enjoy wood, scrap wood DIYs or wood, any type of wood DIYs? I love making signs. That's one of the things I absolutely love. And I love reusing materials that I have at home because it just prevents them from going into garbage, and I actually get to make something beautiful out of them. Once all the stencils were in place where I wanted them to be, I proceeded on painting it. I'm just using a sponge paint and dabbing the paint on, and I'm using some Annie Sloan old white chalk paint. I always find that dabbing the paint instead of brushing it on works much better when stenciling. And as you can see, there was very little to no leakage once I removed the stencils. Now, since I wanted this to be a planter holder home sign type of thing, I am building a box for the bottom, and I'm just using hot glue simply because I was all out of wood glue, and it's just so complicated to get wood glue right now. So I know I could order it and all that stuff, but I had hot glue, so I'm just using that. If I find that it's not holding it as good as I would like it to, I am just I can always, as you can see, take it apart and either screw it or do the hot glue. So because it's gonna be a planter box, but it's not gonna be a box that I'm going to put dirt in and stuff. I'm going to actually just put a planter inside of it with some plants. I am not putting a bottom to it or making it waterproof or anything like that, because it's gonna sit in its own planter. And depending on where I put it, I will most likely either have a fake plants on it, or if it's inside, and if it's outside, then I'll have a real plant in it probably. Before, when doing the back part, because I'm going to be sitting the sign on top of it, you want it to be, that piece of wood to be leveled, so that way your sign's not crooked. I added extra piece of wood just for a little bit more support at the back. There's a couple options for the planter box. You can paint it, stain it, or leave it as is. I am painting it with graphite chalk paint. I'd like to mention, if this is your first time stopping by, I would love it if you considered subscribing and becoming part of my YouTube family. I'm very glad that you've decided to watch this video, and I hope that you stick around. And don't forget to press the notification bell so you get notified when all of my new videos become live or upload. To finish the project, the wood box off, I have cut out some ferns with my Cricut machine, as well as letter B, and established 2001. It's just when my husband and I got married. And the letter B stands for the first letter of our last name. I just love the way this turned out. This last project that I'm working on, I got these pieces of wood in a bag of kindling that in the firewood order that we made, and I thought they would be great to make something out of them because they were pretty nice looking. So I have 4 long ones, and then I have cut 2 of them into the smaller pieces just to make a border around, and then I have 1 flat piece that will be my bottom, and this is how I'm going to glue them on. I do not have measurements because it doesn't really matter what the measurements are. If you have pieces of wood, you can make your lanterns as big as you want. You just have to measure the inside, because I'm making a little border on the inside, so I had cut ones to fit inside, and then I also cut ones on top to make a border on top. And like I said, I'm using hot glue. Now, I did not paint these or stain them. You totally could. You could also just put some weather stripping on, like a weather resistant stain on, which is what I'm thinking I might do. I do not have any on hand at the moment, but I really like the way how rustic these look just as they are, and I am planning on using them on my deck. So once the stores open up, I will most likely go and get just a clear coat to put on for for weather resisting, so in case if it rains, so it doesn't fall apart. I will probably end up screwing these as well at that time, just to keep them a little bit in place. But if I was using them on the inside, I probably would not be doing any of that. I would just leave them as they are. So once I was done with completely assembling them, I end up adding a piece of rope to the top as well. I just love how rustic these lanterns look, and I think they're gonna look great with the little tea light candles from